Well, this might be the day I get deported from El Salvador. Man, we're surely getting some wind today. I don't think we've ever had whitecaps like at the boat. There's actually waves inside this estuary, and it's a super protected estuary. Boga's upset because I took her little cushion away that's usually on the boat because it was gonna fly away. Uita, yeah, of course you need to come through here right now, in this right moment. Today I'm gonna do a project that I should have done a long time ago, and honestly I've been surprised that I haven't gotten more comments about this. So now's your last chance to comment on it, that I have been sailing without a lifeline net, or whatever these are called, lifeline netting, I guess. It was not because I didn't want to, it was just that at the time when I got Boga, I wasn't in a place where I could get some, and then we just sailed with that one. I know it's not grand. We kept her inside the cockpit for most of the time, and during the night she was always inside. So, but yes, you're very right. We shouldn't have done that, and it was not the most responsible way of dealing with things. And I'm changing it now. So I'm gonna put this up to keep this little munchkin safe. And so her favorite treasures are not falling into sea. So there's going to be two sides from the cockpit extension onward forward, and then there's going to be one that wraps around the stern basically, so that the one that wraps around the stern can be opened up for when Boga or I want to enter or exit the cockpit, or when we have to lift up things from the kayak into the cockpit. So yeah, that's going to be sort of like a gate thing. How we're going to do that, I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out. We're going to start with the front bit, which is going to be a little easier, I guess. Alrighty, let's go! Well, this is actually a bit more complicated than it looks, and it takes quite a lot of time too. I definitely underestimated this. I watched a video by Sailrite on how to install the net, but I think the trickiest part that I found was to figure out how you want it stretched and then actually getting it to stretch that way. And I guess it also depends a little bit on the layout of your boat. So how I'm going about it is that I did one of these sections and I put it into the size that I wanted, and now I can count the different diamonds and then I can just replicate it throughout the entire length. So that's going to make it a lot easier, because I now know at what point I want the line to go to the next extension, which will be hopefully easier if it works out. We'll see. Most of my railing has like a railing part on the bottom where I can wrap the line around for the netting, but there's one part midships where there isn't anything on the bottom where I can connect it to. So I'm just now building a little Dyneema line with 2 thimbles that I've spliced in, and I'm just going to put that on the bottom so I can use that to wrap the net around the bottom. Okay, I mean, you've probably been thinking this since you saw me doing this, And now that I'm weaving the line through it, I'm like, why am I weaving the line through it? Why am I just not passing the Dyneema in the first place? Right? Yeah, you knew that. Well, now I do too. Well, I finished all the netting that goes around the front of the boat, so all that's left now is to find a solution for this back area, which is a little bit tricky because the sheet comes in here and I need to be able to move the winch. So I think the upper part I'm going to leave open, and then I'm going to do a lower part that is a clip-in version. I guess I could also do it like a two-way thing where I integrate the lifeline through the middle and then do little clip-ins and clip-outs on the top and the bottom. We'll see. Maybe I'm just gonna do one and see how it goes. The width is perfect. It looks really ugly. Whilst I'm doing this work, Paul is watching our friend Shetty on YouTube. Mat-tail Sailing Shop. Go check her out if you haven't yet. She saves animals while sailing. Pretty cool. So if anyone wants to marvel a little closer at what I'm doing here, which I don't recommend, but I'm using a zigzag stitch, but one that has like 3 stitches in one zig. So zig, 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 zag, zag, zag. That allows the stitch to be super stretchy. So that's great. It's not common that machines like this have this kind of stitch, so that's really great. And then I'm also zigzagging across here multiple times, and then at the end I'm using like a stitch that you use, for example, for t-shirts and stuff, like on the edges for the rims so they don't open up. I'm sure there's tons of ways to do this better or differently, so if you have any recommendations, write a note in the comments for my next project. While I can't say I'm a fan of Karl's new look wrapped up in this spiderweb netting, it does seem a lot safer for Boga, so I'll gladly accept it. I couldn't pick up my visa on Friday, which I was supposed to, but I had a raging stomach bug that did not allow me to go further away from my head than maybe 10-20 meters. So there's no way I could have made it from Karl, jumping into the dinghy, 20-minute ride to Puerto Parada, and then like a 20-30 minute ride to Usurutan to pick up my visa. So I couldn't go. Well, I'm not going to go into detail about the stomach thing, but it was pretty bad. Yeah, so Friday was the 17th and today is the 20th. And I just really hope that they're not going to deport me. Right. So, yep. Let's find out, shall we? The area where my friend Paul and my boat are anchored is accessible only by boat. There's no road access, but a sprawling waterways system frequented by small dugout fishing canoes or larger lanchas serving as water taxis, transporting people or goods like coconuts, building materials, or even livestock. It's roughly a 15-minute ride from our anchorage to Puerto Parada, a small town serving as a hub for people to reach their homes scattered throughout the mangrove jungle. Luckily, I just spotted our friend Arturo on the dock because I need a photocopy of his DUI, like his identity card, for getting my visa. These are tamales de maíz. And the nice thing is they're not like made from cornmeal, but they're actually made from the corn itself. Boga loves them, obviously. Sit. High fives. 9. Sit. High fives. Ja, du kommst mit an. High fives. Good. And what I really like about them, they come in their own natural packaging. From Puerto Parada, we hop on a taxi to Tapachula. You can also take the bus, but they sometimes won't allow the dog on board. This 20-minute car ride is always an adventure in itself, since there are often cows or horses either next to the street or right on the street, and the traffic surely follows some other rules than what I'm used to from Germany. It's all about spotting an opportunity and having the guts to just go for it and blow the horn in case you think someone should give you a way of right.
Hey, no handcuffs.
Looks like maybe we're going to Mexico. No, well, this chap that I was working on my visa, we already had like some sort of, I don't know, some kind of like hate-love relationship in there, and I'm obviously late for picking it up, and then he's like telling me, well, there's bad news, and he looks at me all serious, and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna deport me. He's like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is like my passport you're talking about. And then I was just coming out and we were filming and going like, yay, I got my passport. He runs after and he goes like, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a problem. I'm like, wow, okay, what's now? But I just forgot to fill in something, like something very major. So, good to go. Whew.
Fortunately, the extension of my visa worked out, so Paul and I headed down to the local farmers market to get our shopping done. While it feels quite normal to me, for those who have never been to a market in Central America, the experience can be quite remarkable. These markets are vibrant and bustling places with an abundance of tasty vegetable, legumes and spices, many of which may seem unfamiliar at first. And some of the meat and fish stalls may not meet the hygiene standards of where I come from, but people here are inventive in finding ways to protect the goods as best as possible. A commonly used custom-made tool is a mop-like broomstick with plastic strips on the end used to shoo away flies from the food. Personally, I love the market experience, moving from one stand to the next and chatting with vendors and witnessing the vibrant market life unfolding right before my eyes. It's a delightful contrast to the remote and tranquil life we live at Anchor.
¿Qué vende usted?
Loroco, Chile.
Loroco. ¿Y qué se hace con loroco?
Se hace pupusas, chilaquilas, tortitas, se hacen arroz.
Y para ponerlo dentro de los pupusas, ¿qué se tiene que hacer?
¿Para ponerle qué?
¿Se fríe o se...?
No, así nomás.
¿Así nomás?
Con la calor de la tortilla se cose.
¿Ah, sí?
Sí. Se le echa se le revuelve quesillo.
¿Y qué sabor tiene?
Sabor a aliento vaca. No, pero es rico, ya cocido, es rico.
Sí. When Paul goes shopping, he always has a little stop at some shady bar and he's going to show me where it is.
Pasen adelante.
Buenas.
Buenas.
¿Cómo se llaman?
Mauricio y Franklin.
You gonna cut some money?
Son de aquí de Usulután.
De acá de Sultán. Él es mi hermano. Soy de otro país.
Vale, voy a ganar los $100, ¿vale?
Claro,
Okay, so he's got up to $100 in his pocket. If we win the $160,000, then we have to go to the office.
Él es suizo y ella es Alemania.
Y así también, ¿no?
Sí,
Diagonal.
sí, esto le hizo falta uno. 3, ahí sí.
¿Qué he ganado?
Ahí abajo dice el premio.
¡Wow! 50 centavos. Pero todavía usted está arriba con todo. Ya, casi le entiendo.
Para mí el último no era.
After our visit to Paul's favorite hole in the wall, we made our way back to Puerto Parada. However, before heading home, we had to make a quick pit stop at Isabella's, our go-to spot for a cold one. And in the event that one cold one turns into a couple, Boga, my four-legged companion, usually serves as a gentle reminder. She'll demonstratively walk away towards the dinghy, signaling that it's time to call it a day. As much as I love the community that I have slowly melted into here, I also know it's time to prepare for my next sailing voyage. But more about that next time.